Following up Uncharted 2 put Naughty Dog in a difficult position. After such a strong sequel, expectations were incredibly high for Nathan Drake's third outing to top its genre-defining predecessor, quickly making this one of the most anticipated games of 2011, backed by a very strong marketing campaign that featured adverts starring Harrison Ford, as well as one for Subway.
Subway, where winners eat. Ow!
I'm a winner. Anyway, let's see if Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception lives up to the legacy of Among Thieves. Even those who didn't like the game couldn't deny the impact that Uncharted 2 had on gaming. It combined Hollywood blockbuster production values, action set pieces, as well as very fun gameplay together like no game before it. Even today it remains one of the most critically acclaimed games of all time. So following up from that was always going to be a big challenge for Naughty Dog, and for some, especially the critics, they succeeded in making a game on par with 2. But not everyone was satisfied. I'll go into some of the criticisms this game tends to receive throughout the video, so all you need to know for now is that quite a few people found this game disappointing, with some calling it the worst game in the series. Is this because their expectations were just too high? Or is there something really missing? Well, let's see if my opinions line up with those of the critics or the critical. The adventure begins with Nate and Sully auctioning off Francis Drake's ring to a conman named Talbot. When the money turns out to be fake, the duo have to fight their way out in a good old-fashioned London pub brawl. This drink's on me, jerk! Once they escape, they run into Talbot's client, Catherine Marlowe, played brilliantly by Helen Mirren. She's an old enemy from Nate and Sully's past, and after a flashback we learn that Nate and Marlowe had a run-in whilst both were trying to claim Francis Drake's ring and a cipher disk that would lead them to discover the truth behind a secret voyage made by Sir Francis. For 20 years, Marlowe has had the cipher, while Nate has had the ring. Back in the present day, Nate picks up where he left off and soon finds himself, along with his allies, trying to find a lost city in the middle of a desert. Once again, the plot is great. I still think Drake's Fortune had the best overall story, but this one also works very nicely, as well as having a lot more to offer. You're all probably bored of me saying this, but the characters really do make these standard treasure hunts into something really endearing. At this point, Nate is one of my favourite video game characters, and a new, if a little thin, layer is added in the process when his companions question what he's trying to prove. Speaking of which, his companions are also just as memorable, but I'll admit, a little underused. Chloe doesn't make it past the first act, and the same goes for newcomer Charlie Cutter. However, he is one of the funniest Uncharted characters and brilliantly portrayed by Jason Statham, and the screen time both get is still quite good. Certainly more than what Sully got in the last game, that's for sure. Actually, Naughty Dog made up for his near absence in 2 by making the story just as much about Nate and Sully's relationship as it is about finding the lost city. And that is a very good thing, as Sully's also a great character. If they sacrifice time with other characters to give Sully the limelight, then I'm not too bothered. The villains are also an improvement from the last 2 games. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I think they're interesting, and I think that can be attributed to the fact they get a lot more screen time than the other villains in the series. Yeah, Talbot's character could have had some things explained a little better, but aside from that, I like these villains. Oh, and you know how 2 have really good set pieces? Well... the memorable moments in this game are too many to count. You know how the highlight in 2 was the battle on the moving train? Try escaping from a burning building, fighting across numerous boats, a horseback assault... Hang on. This game has you escaping from a burning building, a fight on a boat, and a horse chase against some convoys, as well as a flashback with the younger Drake. This seem familiar to anyone? Yeah, I tend to call Drake's Deception the Last Crusade of the Uncharted series. Not that that's a bad thing at all. Overall, I love this story. While it's certainly got a few issues here and there, it's still these awesome characters I know and love. It didn't fail to engross me the first time through, and it done so again the second. While many tend to complain the game feels more like an Uncharted 2.5, the gameplay still has a lot of new refinements, even if most of them are subtle. What hasn't changed is the platforming. It's still very satisfying. I did complain that I really struggled to find out where to go next in 2, and honestly, only had that issue twice here. But I'll admit, it's more Elgato captures lighting that gave me trouble in both games. Yeah, don't blame me, I'm just a victim of Elgato's lighting. Puzzles have definitely seen the biggest improvements. Not only are there more of them, but they're also much more creative. I'm someone who loves the puzzle genre, so I found myself really enjoying them. They're also much harder, but not too hard. It's just right. Well, again, I love the puzzle genre, so I may be a little smarter than your average gamer. And once again, we find ourselves at the combat. Well, I'm very pleased to say we're far past the days of the first game's repetitive shooting. And at a first glance, some might think of that as a bold statement, because this game actually has the finish encounter, take a few steps, and more enemies to deal with scenario from the first game. So what's the difference here? Once again, the pacing. This time there are chapter-long breaks from the shooting, and there's also some sections devoted to hand-to-hand combat. Actually, on the subject of hand-to-hand combat, that's something that's seen a big revamp in this game, and it's quite good. While it's technically just a glorified quick-time event and the animations can be jerky, it's still fun enough. Actually, I have to admit, some of the animations can look pretty weird at first. I say at first because you do grow used to it, but at first, it can be really strange to see. Getting off track here, so let's get back to the shooting. It's pretty much the same mechanically as it has been in the first two games. You can now throw enemy grenades back at them, but honestly, if that's the most notable change, yeah. Shooting's always been very fun, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Absolutely, and there's been some subtle improvements here and there as well. The main improvement I see to the shooting is the overall stage design. It's a lot more varied. I especially like this one encounter where enemies with rocket launchers are shooting at you from a distance, and the only way to take care of them is to snipe them whilst avoiding their fire. This game has got plenty of great little encounters like that. I also forgot how challenging this game is, particularly against this guy, but damn, once I worked out how to kill him... Blow his face off! Go on! Did I get him? Yes! I can finally continue along my merry path. What?! It's also pretty awesome to just survive in the brink of war. The challenge makes the shooting all the more intense and adrenaline pumping. I also think the pacing works in the game's favour. This was actually one of the biggest criticisms the game received, mainly aimed at there being a lot more locations, and instead of going to them via train or convoy, you go by the screenwipe effect from Star Wars. Many complained that this was done just to cater for the next set piece, but I like there's a lot more locations. It makes the story feel more like a globe-trotting adventure. Also, London and Syria didn't have any set pieces. None of you thought that now, did ya? There's also a much bigger emphasis on exploration, so it's much more interesting to explore all these new beautiful locales and colour schemes. Also, Drake's Fortune had the jungle setting, Among Thieves had snow, and Drake's Deception has an Arabian setting, and it looks great, even if it is a little underused. It's like a remake of the SNES Aladdin game. Except nothing like it. Okay, wrapping things up here. And honestly, I love this game more than 2. I do admit that Uncharted 2 is the better game overall, and there are some things it does considerably better, like the brief moments of stealth. But to me, 3 is more varied, epic, and above all else, fun. It does have plenty of small little issues, but they don't destroy the overall experience. Some of gaming's finest moments can only be found here, moments that will make your jaw drop, scenes you'll hardly believe you're actually playing, and parts that will truly absorb you into this story and make you care about these characters. And for all that and more, this game scores a 95%. I love the setting, I love the action, I love the gameplay, I love the characters, I just love this game. Oh god, there's a sniper! Well out of here!